Welcome to the Everyday Executive Woman, casual chats about real life as a woman and leader, the podcast where senior level women leaders share real life stories, struggles, and strategies to thrive personally and professionally. I'm your host, Well Woman Executive Coach and brain rewiring expert, Lisa Michelle Smith. Join me for casual and candid conversations, relatable insights, and actionable guidance that will inspire and empower you to lead confidently, live healthily, and embrace your perfectly imperfect self. All right, so hello everyone. This is Lisa Michelle Smith with the Coaching Center for Mind Training and Success and Well Woman Executive Coach. And I am pleased to have as my guest today, Ellen Duckworth. And Ellen and I have known each other for many years. And love working with her and seeing all the things that she's doing in her role and in her community. So I'm going to start off by letting Ellen just share briefly with us what your role is, the organization that you work for, how long you've been in that role, and so those are the main things. So just kind of give us a background on that, and we'll.
Sure. So I've spent the last 12 years working in senior living, retirement communities, and I currently work at Westminster, Canterbury, and Chesapeake Bay, which is what is known as a continuing care retirement center, only we call it life plan communities now. I've been there, as I said, for 7 years. I am the sales director. I currently have a team of 3 sales counselors, as well as an administrative marketing coordinator and a marketing events coordinator. And I work directly with the vice president of marketing and development for Westminster Canterbury. Westminster Canterbury is a very large retirement community with many divisions, many products, and we're right 100 yards from the bay, so we're right on the beach.
Right. And there's multiple residences in the area that are part of Westminster Canterbury, and also some areas outside of where we are, right?
Exactly. So our organization is here in Virginia Beach, and at our main campus, we have a little right at 700 residents. We're currently building a new 22-story tower, which will bring us another 226 apartments, adding another 300 plus residents. We have a rental community, Opus Select, just 3 blocks away, that has about 200 residents. We also have a program called Early Advantage, where member residents can live at home, but they have access to the community and a care plan. And we have about 340 people in that program. And within Westminster Canterbury, I'm also responsible for, I do have a clinical outreach coordinator that works with hospitals and doctors' offices to bring in referrals to our rehab center, Stone Rehab, or long-term care into our Hoy Center.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So a lot going on there.
A lot going on all the time. I'm responsible for coming up with event ideas, managing speakers, developing marketing strategies, administering the marketing plans, continuing to coach and train and work with the sales team and build them up, work directly with the VP on any other initiatives or projects that we're assigned to work with.
Right. And so kind of give us a peek into what a typical day looks like for you, starting, waking up in the morning, and maybe, what you do in the morning, a routine, what kind of your space is like. And then when you're getting into work, typical kinds of things that you might be doing through the day, at work or going outside of the office, and then, wrapping up the day and doing things in your evening.
Well, I will say that my daily schedule has changed a lot, Lisa, since I've been working with you. I make sure that I have time in the morning when I do wake up to have some reflection, have an opportunity to think about approaching the day from a position of gratitude. What are some of the opportunities that I may be facing? What are some of the challenges? What are some of the great things that are going to be happening, to position my mind in the way that I feel it needs to be successful for that day? So I have carved out time in the morning where I can meditate, where I can write in my journal, because I journal almost every day, So then I get ready for work. And during that time, I have a daily playlist of songs that lift my spirit and lift my heart. And I add to it, and I take away from it on a regular basis, depending upon what songs lift me up. So I usually have that going while I'm getting ready in the morning, or I might be listening to emotional intelligence, or some kind of podcast or a book, audible book. So I try to position myself so that my brain is ready, my body is ready, I'm ready to face the day. I never have a typical day, but my day consists of working with the team, developing strategy on how to help people continue to move in, recognizing coaching opportunities on how to help my team continue to be better, working with our vendors, our speakers, coming up with ideas and programs on how to market the Bay Tower or the other products that we offer through Westminster Canterbury, work with the campus leaders team on a daily basis to make sure that we're delivering that preeminent service that we promise. Also continuing to develop new programs and new ideas. But I spend a lot of time truly shoulder to shoulder with my team.
Mhm.
We are in constant communication every day, talking about what's happening, who's moving in, what their needs are, how we can accommodate those needs. And then the way my day ends really depends upon what mood I'm in. Do I want to go listen to some music? Do I want to go have dinner with some friends? Or am I ready to just come home and have a nice, quiet evening? But one of the things that you've taught me that I do is I leave my work at work. So when I leave my office, I leave my computer there. And if there's anything drastic that needs to happen, I know someone will contact me or I can use my phone to check on it. So I make it a point to not completely immerse myself in my job. Since doing that, it's brought me a great deal of relief and release of the stress that I had been dealing with. But I usually end my day by, getting my makeup off and, getting in comfortable clothes. And oftentimes I might have a favorite program, but lately I have been watching as much TV. I felt like I was spending too much time in front of it. So I made it a point to listen to more music, read more, just do more things around my condo that brings me joy and makes me happy, and staying in touch with friends. But I do go out a lot. So that's my typical day. I'm very much a Gemini, so it depends upon what mood I'm in as to how I'm going to be ending my day.
Okay. So I'd like to go back to something that you said earlier about how you've changed boundaries around work and not taking work home and when you end your day at work and having a certain time where you're ending your day and then you're going off into your personal life. But tell us a little bit, because I know that this is a challenge for a lot of women executives, feeling guilty or feeling like it's impossible for them to have some of that delineation. What helped you to be able to do that and to get past any fears or concerns about not being constantly available?
It was hard. It was hard. It wasn't an easy process, but for me, it was a promise that I'd made to myself. I recognized that my life was unbalanced. There was more time being spent on work and less time being spent on me and joy and what I really wanted to mold my life into. So once I made the promise to myself that the business wasn't going to fall apart, if I wasn't available to answer an email or to take a phone call after 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night or after 6 o'clock on the weekend, for me, it was a matter of just doing it and accepting whatever would happen would happen. And that's very scary as a woman who, you're used to being in control, used to being in charge, to say, the way I'm going to be in control now is to protect my mental well-being, to find balance in my life, and making a promise to myself to do that. And then just doing it. It's like the old Nike thing, just do it. And the more that I've done it, the easier it's become, the more people are respecting that boundary, the more even my team knows that don't call me because I may not answer, So I think it was just a matter of making that promise to myself and then doing it. Because we as women make promises to other people all the time and we keep them. We show up when we're saying we're going to, we deliver what we say we're going to, but we don't always treat ourselves the same way. So for me, it was understanding that putting myself first is not selfish, it was selfless, and allowing me to actually have more time with my family, more time for the things that I'm happy with, bringing me great relief from feeling like I'm on call all the time or on all the time, because we can't be on all the time.
Mhm.
So again, it was keeping a promise to myself and then just doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And retraining some people around
I,
you.
yes, exactly. That I think that being verbal to people about the fact that I'm taking this for me, that's a scary thing because when I first was talking to my chief executive officer and we were doing a luncheon together one day, and I told him what I was doing, it was really kind of scary because you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed, as a woman, you're supposed to be always available and in charge and there. But once I shared that with him and told him my reasons why, he got it. And same way with my team. I think everyone wants work-life balance. It's just having the discipline to do it, making yourself vulnerable to
Mhm.
people to let them know that this is what I need.
Yeah.
We're not always used to asking for what we need. It
Right.
got easier the more that I did it. So now I don't really have a problem asking for what I need.
That's great.
Mhm.
Um, so what would you say that you like the most about the role that you're in now and having this, executive position with with the organization you're with? What kind of lights you up, or what
Sure.
most gratifying to you about this kind of role?
Well, I since the mid 80s, I've held some kind of executive level role, whether it was the president of my own company, national sales director, a director of college admissions, career services, so I've always had that. But here, the thing that I enjoy most about working at Westminster Canterbury, and I say this at every orientation that I do, I have grown more professionally and personally working with this organization than any other organization that I've worked for. Part of it is the way I'm challenged. What I love is the independence, the ability to be creative, the fact that we have mutual respect and trust and that they allow me to do the things I really want to do. But the challenges have been uh, developing a better communication style, becoming a better coach, career coach, as far as skill sets with my team, recognizing them as individuals. So the challenges have been more on me becoming a better person. And the thing again that I love about Westminster Canterbury is having the room to do that. It is a faith-based organization. It is a nonprofit. So sometimes it feels like they operate a little bit differently. Our motto is always to do the right thing for the right reasons.
Mm.
And when you approach life from that perspective or your career from that perspective, it makes decision making, pretty simple.
Okay. So then on that note, how how do you feel, or what resources or thought process do you find that is helpful for you when you're dealing with any kind of challenging situations in the workplace? What sort of is a guiding mantra or vision or you know process for how to approach the challenges that you face?
That's a good question. My personal mantra spills over into my business world, as you know, as I've learned from you, which is that you're going to get back from the universe what you put out into it.
Mm.
So if I'm going to go and coach someone or have a conversation and I'm approaching it from a negative perspective without an open mind, and I'm quick to judge, and I'm not empathetic or open to new ideas, well, guess what the universe is going to give back to me is negativity, no ideas, people who are shut down, don't want to come to me with issues or problems, and then we can't move forward. For me right now, what you've taught me with the 5 steps of empathize, explore, navigate, activate, and then I'm forgetting the fifth one, where you go back and kind of,
Empathize, explore.
yeah, and I think then you go back and kind of reassess it. Did it work? I have that in front of me at work. And I think the first step has been the most helpful for me, which is empathy. To when I sit down in front of someone, to be able to put myself in their shoes and to empathize which where they're coming from, what they may have experienced, why they're behaving the way they are, why are they saying the things they are. That then opens the door for us to have a very honest and frank conversation of exploring it.
Mhm.
Because once I start to, and they get the sense that I'm sincerely wanting to understand, then we can explore and come up with some kind of a solution or some kind of a new skill set, or I can understand what it is that they need, and then I can come up with a solution, navigate that solution, continue to assess it, and make sure that it's working.
Yeah, great. So you're referring to what we call the 5 powers of the
The
sage,
five,
the
yes, 5 powers of
positive
the sage.
intelligence
Yeah,
work
yes.
that you've been trained in. And so that's sort of those steps and those principles are really helpful in managing those challenges and having a better outcome from them.
It is, but probably like a lot of executive women, I have taken so many development courses and classes. I mean, I've been through Zig Ziglar and Brian Hopkins and Tony Robbins, and we go through all of them. We read all the books, but there comes a point where you have to say to yourself, enough reading, and now we need to actually do what it is. And I was probably a little bit later in life coming to that realization that I can read all I want, I can listen to tapes, I can watch videos, but at the end of the day, I have to do the work.
Mhm.
And having you help that, because having a coach, which is, you've got someone to hold you accountable, to help you set those goals, to define where you want to go, to understand what you want to accomplish in your life, and then to be able to take that journey and start that process. So you really have to be prepared to make the change.
Yeah, good. And it's so great again that you share about that because um, change doesn't happen through information, right? It comes
Right,
through application. So
right.
actually implementing the things that you're learning in a consistent way that really does make that impact over time and starts to become more the norm, So I know
It does.
me is right. It's just it becomes the default now for you to utilize these tools and think in this new way from what you've learned and
Yes.
it's made a big difference for you. How would you say in your personal life um, the ability to um, recognize things that aren't working for you and making decisions about what you want to change or how you want to go about that. How has that helped you in your personal life and therefore positively impacted your work life?
Well, first of all, my health. I've lost 70 plus pounds, 73 pounds in the last 2 years. And I'm also have been an insulin dependent diabetic since July of 2012. And making the changes has been a miracle. I have come off almost all my medications. I am only taking 4 units of insulin a day. My health is tremendously improved. I'm doing things that I love. And I think that was also part of it, was really finding out what brings me joy, what I'm open to. So starting to horseback ride again, traveling, going to a dude ranch. I'm doing things I never ever thought that a 70-year-old woman would be able to do. And I am energetic and I am able to move easily. and I'm strong, physically strong. My brain is, where it needs to be. So, of course, all that's translated into work, into I'm more focused. I am more patient. In fact, someone said to me today, they said, "You're much more patient than I am because I don't have the stress that I had at one time. So I'm able to respond reasonably to situations instead of responding because I'm stressed or my life feels chaotic or I don't have time to get things done. I still don't have time to get things done. I don't think that changes. But I'm approaching it differently. I recognize that I can do the best I can do, and that's going to be enough. And that's okay with me. I think the other thing too, I was actually talking to my daughter-in-law about this on the way home tonight. I am probably for the first time in my life living authentically me.
Mm.
There's nothing hidden, no shame, no guilt. I am exactly who I am, and it is so liberating to be who you are. It truly is freeing. And that has been one of the biggest benefits. So for work, what it does, I am more creative, more high energy, coming up with more ways to do things in a different way, communicating better. It just really has changed my life. And that's been because I think I committed to it. Just have to say I'm going to do it. I think the other thing too, Lisa, is I stopped looking at the cost as a cost and started looking at it as an investment.
The
Because I think
cost of
sometimes,
what?
well, just the cost of getting a life coach, the cost of having a concierge doctor, the cost of getting a personal trainer, the cost of going and getting a facial, the cost of going and getting a massage. I think sometimes we as women, we weren't taught to invest in ourselves. And once I had a mind shift that said, these things that I'm doing is an investment. It's an investment in my mental health, my physical health, my career, my future. Once I decided I was going to make that investment, more money actually came for me to make the investment. So it's funny how that works.
Right. Oh, awesome. So, kind of just on a lighter note, a couple of fun questions. You mentioned some things that you like to do, in your spare time, but are there any kind of causes that you're passionate about or things that you also invest your time, your talents, your treasures into that are important to you?
Well, as you know, I love to hike. I feel like I find my spirit renewed when I'm in the woods. So I am very committed to making sure I have time to get out to do that. But as far as causes, I'm set on the board of the Virginia Beach Art Center, the Vibe Art Gallery. And the reason that I decided to join that board was because of my grandson. He fell in love with the art gallery and it opened up conversations and we go to all kinds of art shows and all I could think of is I want to bring his children, I want him to bring able to bring his children to this art gallery.
Mm.
And so I joined the board, support them, come up with ways to raise funds for them. I also am on very involved and on the board for the FBI Citizens Academy chapter here, because the FBI, part of what we do is community education and outreach. So providing education on human trafficking, on scam situations that happen to everyone, not just seniors. Of course, seniors is a big part of what we focus on. Uh, that's been really great to get that education, but I'm absolutely passionate about our aging population, about providing the right education to help people make good choices and decisions, about looking into what are resources that individuals can use as we age, but also to explain to people that we don't have to get old as we age. We can still be vibrant and youthful and have great activities and we don't have to be our parents 70-year-old. My dad died at 70. I am thriving at 70. And so I think that's the biggest thing is, again, my cause is to set the example, be a role model, provide the education for those of us who are over 65 and looking at what's next for us in our life's journey.
Great. And then we'll end on a really fun question. So if you had any superpower for a day, what would you like it to be, and how would you use it in your role as an executive woman?
Well, I would, of course, I love the outdoors. So the way I would use it, what I'd want to do is to create a program like I did and worked with in Florida, where women are given an opportunity to go into the forest and learn how to read the woods, learn how to use a compass, learn how to survive in the outdoors, learn how to find their spirit in that silence. Because I did it for 20 years, and the confidence that I would see, it was called Becoming an Outdoor Woman program in Florida. And to see the confidence that someone gets as they're going through the woods and they're able to use a compass and they're able to read animal tracks and they're able to find direction based upon the way moss grows on a tree, or it's I would want to be able to take that and be able to evolve that into a program that would allow women of my age now to go out into the woods and find that confidence and find that peace and find that love of the outdoors that I have.
Love it. Thank you.
Welcome.
So before we end, is there one piece of parting wisdom or advice that you would give to executive women that you feel would be helpful for them to create more balance or feel more confident in being authentic? Like, you mentioned, what's one main piece of advice that you think would be helpful for them?
Get a life coach. You have to have someone that is observing behaviors, observing goals, that you can talk through things with. I never truly understood the value of what that could offer me in my life until I experienced it. But having someone with an insight, someone to help, like when you and I did a values assessment, I'd never done a values assessment like that. All the work that we've done on letting go of the past, of moving on, of setting boundaries, of understanding what's important to me. We don't take time to do that unless we're accountable to someone that's going to guide us through it. So I use coaches in a variety of different ways now, personal coaches, life coaches. It's wonderful because I can put on my calendar knowing that, okay, today I've got to be ready to talk about my goals and where I want to go in my life and what are the things I want to achieve. And it also forces me then to reflect on them. So that would be my one piece of advice, is to surround yourself with the coaches that are going to guide you and hold you accountable, and you surround yourself with people that you want to be like.
Awesome. Great advice.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for being my guest on the show today, Ellen. It's been a delight being able to share you with other people. And so I look forward to seeing everybody else again on our next podcast. And remember that life doesn't change just by knowledge. So think about maybe one piece of advice you heard here today, or one idea that you got that you're ready to implement in your life to start to make some of that positive impact that you want. Take care and have a great day.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks for joining me on The Everyday Executive Woman. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe or bookmark this channel, leave a review, and share it with another executive woman who could use some encouragement. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Just be you. Until next time, keep grounded, keep growing, and keep taking care of you.